Better than normal. It's a really good thing. That's what I try to say. That's what I try to convince myself.
That's what I got.
Me personally, I am doing normal, but yeah.
Realistic.
They said it's a really good thing Nolan's not listening to this conversation. We just got our the ethics and standards committee
interview that was sent to people. We just got back yesterday. I just read the document today, and nobody's read any words besides
Except it's not in the bylaws. I didn't read the bylaws, so I wouldn't know. I didn't read the bylaws.
Yeah, mine is. I have Andrew.
Who
knows? Oh no, I did it all last night. Horrible idea. Sent it to them at one, and then they.
Said, hey, if anyone's hey, it's like Canada with the Geneva Convention. I didn't break the rules, but after I did it, there happened to be a lot more rules that.
Yeah, that's what
it's just like
Hold up.
Send it to them. You always can have fun. Yep.
How's it going?
It's not fair for me to say.
All the damn business stuff.
Okay. Now, did they do anything? I'm the body, so I've written. Hey,
I didn't.
I think like 2.5 today.
Every single one of us to see if I can.
Yeah, bro.
I slept a lot.
I need my camera
today,
That's
but
why
I
people over
feel
here don't
fine
talk.
because I pulled an all-nighter on me.
I also need. Is there an outlet?
So I just had to balance it out.
Yeah, there you go.
Is Macy gonna be here today?
Macy will be here, and Macy's important to be here. Well, BM and the speaker just walked in.
Dick shot? No,
Wait, she's there.
I brought her card here.
Oh, traitor.
Yeah, but let's just leave
Motion to convict the chairman of treason to MSU.
If we call this meeting to order right now, do we even have anybody here?
I would make corn.
Why is there eyelash?
Depends on who you ask about quorum. If you ask the bylaws, it says 13. If you ask the Constitution, it says 17. If you ask me, and we get out of here.
Alan!
Last weekend, like at the student event, I met a guy called John Wall. Oh, yes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
He's a composer. Open form. I've known about this for 2 weeks now. My parents both. I knew it was gonna happen for Thanksgiving, but I did not know today. But I'm doing today's agenda is not too big, so my presentation is I'll get a text that is
Hello everybody, welcome to the 93rd Student Development Meeting for November 12th, 2025. This meeting is being conducted in person in CSU 238. It's currently 4:02 p.m. and I call this meeting in order. We will begin with our land recognition statement. Student government acknowledges that we live, work, and learn in the homeland of the Dakota people, whose language frames our institution's name, Minnesota State University, Mankato. We'll begin with our roll call now. Senator Livingston, Senator Hyber, Senator Kabad, Senator Dietrich,
Here.
Senator Morris, Senator Reyes, Senator Wynn, Senator Anderson, Senator Zelmer, Senator Cummings, Senator Ide, Senator Hiluka, Senator Isaac, Senator Knauer, Senator Johnson, Senator Atkinson, Senator Stokes, Senator Hillstead, Senator Schoen, Senator Liu, Senator Frost, Senator Wickersham, Senator Wynn again, Senator Aubard. All right. Are there any amendments or dissents to the consent agenda? I'm so sorry. Vice President Kafli, President Colvin, and Speaker Tapa. All right, do we have any amendments or dissents to the consent agenda? Any amendments or dissents? All those in favor of consent agenda, please raise your placard. All those who disagree? All right, seeing consent agenda clearly passes. We now move forward with our presentation, which is for spring election rules, reading, and timeline. And I'd like to invite Senator Reyes for it.
Okay. Well, howdy, howdy. If you don't know me, I'm Senator Reyes. I'm the Senator of Graduate Studies, but in this role, I am your Chief Election Commissioner for the Election Commissions this year. So Speaker Thapa sent out a couple documents talking about the final timeline, the final rules that the Election Commission decided on. We have new PDF versions. I'll make sure we upload it to the teams in the proper format. But we kind of wanted to talk a little bit about it just so people can know about what's going on, get any changes that's happening, and kind of explain some reasoning behind it. So I'm not going to go line by line and explain every single rule of the election. If you want to do that on your own time. But I do want to highlight some main differences from last year to this year for those who have ran in the past or who are knowledgeable about what's been going on. So technology work. So let's go to the rules first. A lot of the rules we felt like were made in good faith and good standing. We wanted to keep a lot of them. Some of the main differences that we put out is under, my computer works, is under campaigning. We can go there now. And that is under campaigning, and it's 6G. So we felt like it would be necessary to add a AI clause within the campaigning rules. Not because we want to limit people from using AI. We think AI use ethically is a positive thing for the most part, and we have to embrace the new change. However, if you take a look at the exact wording of it, on G, it says the use of generative AI is allowed. However, candidates are required to disclose the use of generative AI on all campaign materials, physical or digital, with the disclaimer that is visible to the naked eye. This campaign material was created in part with the assistance of generative AI. So just to make sure that everything we can kind of nip in the bud to make sure there is no confusion about campaign materials, digital or whatnot. But also we wanted to really set the precedent going forward. So if AI becomes a big problem within the campaign, the next year's Rules Commission and Election Commission will have good grounding and good standing to be able to make those changes as necessary. Along that, the other main change was, where is it? Actually, I think the next main change is actually on the timeline. So we can jump there to the timeline now. So we made a couple of changes on the timeline just to make sure it works a little cohesively, but to make the dates make more sense. So if we go to the timeline, this is where the biggest changes the commission made. The first change is that we allow for digital campaigning to be extended. Now this year it starts on March 16th. We allow for digital campaigns. So that's like social media, online platforms. We thought last year a lot of parties and candidates did a great job at making social media pages and stuff, but they are only able to put it up for 2 weeks and instantly take it down. We want to get the word out quicker about the election. We acknowledge that the election is a very important process in electing people who represent the students. So we allow for digital campaigning to happen earlier. The other main change we did was we moved up the filing deadline for presidential and vice presidential candidates. Now we moved it up to March 23rd, the Monday before the budget meeting. We wanted people to be able to establish if they're running for an executive office like president or vice president before any big major student government things like the budget meeting, just to have that extra sense of accountability and to make sure that we know exactly who we're voting for well before like stuff like the budget meeting, stuff like that.
The other change is that now we have physical campaigning on March 27th begins and the deadline of the subsidy. So we again separated the digital and physical campaigning. And then if you make note that we have our election April 13th and 14th, I think this is literally the last day the Constitution allows us to do it. So we just want to give everyone enough time to properly put out their material, make sure they can campaign the way they want to, and then we can have a good, fair election. And that's most of the changes we've made. If you have any questions, you can let me know about our mindset. But those are the things that we wanted to talk about.
Do you have any questions regarding the presentation? Yes, Senator Selmer.
Is there an allocated amount of money that is given to parties to campaign with?
Yeah, so, excuse me, I'm not 100% versed on the rules, but there is a part in the rules that outline that there is student government money to be used for campaign purchases, like campaigning, such as like posters, printing, stuff like that. It's under Article 6 of Finances. Yeah, student government will provide $10 per candidate subsidy capped at a maximum of $50 for a party to use of printing of campaign posters or handouts from university printing services. The student government also gives out a subsidy, so on the timeline that deadline for a subsidy, you have to apply for it by March 27th if you want to use the money given to us.
Any other questions? All right, thank you so much. A wonderful presentation. Please give them a round of applause. Now we move forward with open forum. Is there anyone here today for open forum? Yes, Senator Wickersham.
That was dramatic. All right. So following, so Senator Livingston presented results from his off-campus housing survey last week, and I'm here to present results from my on-campus survey. So just as a small footnote real quick before we begin, my survey was less about housing and more about the on-campus student experience in general. We had about 90 responses over the course of a week as compared to Senator Livingston's 260, I believe, over the course of a month. So the big things are kind of two different questions really about students' knowledge of advocacy groups and governing groups on campus. One question asked them if they knew what RHA was, the Residence Hall Association, and if they knew what student government was. And if they responded yes, they were then prompted to ask what they know about those organizations. So from those questions, we found out that 67% of students don't know what RHA is, and a further 14% commented that they did. However, they gave incorrect explanations or incomplete explanations for what RHA does on campus, leaving only about 19% of students knowing what it does and what it is. We had similar results for student government, with only about 21% of students knowing what we are and what we do. 52% of people have never even heard of us, while 27% have heard of us, but they don't know what we do. So that's kind of an issue that we could resolve in the future. As for the on-campus housing experience, or on-campus experience itself, sorry, I asked students to rate their experiences moving into the dorms themselves, the community and atmosphere inside the residence halls, and the roommate selection process. Out of a rating of 5, with 5 being the best, 1 being the worst, students gave an average of 4.17 rating for moving into the dorms, 3.94 for the dorms themselves, 3.97 for the community and atmosphere in the dorms, and a 3.81 for selecting their roommates. Some other issues that were, or comments that were raised in the open-ended question or section of the survey were that there have been issues of bias incident report worthy behavior, including transphobia and homophobia in the residence halls. Several students raised concerns about the cleanliness of communal bathrooms and laundry rooms in the residence halls. There were safety concerns for some, particularly getting into the ability for outside people to get into residence halls, and especially the halls themselves. So like not just getting into Crawford, but getting into Crawford D Hall. And a lot of that, the comments on that were specifically aimed about the scan-in process for that. Some complained about the quality of AC and room temperature. However, not all of the comments on that question were negative. Some people were really appreciative of WOW events, and some highlighted their CAs as being particularly good and beneficial for their hall and their community as a whole. And that's all about all that I have from this survey.
Thank you so much. Do we have any questions for Senator Wickersham? All right, thank you so much. A wonderful, wonderful. Everyone else here today present for the open forum? From the gallery, yes, you may please proceed to the podium.
Hello, you might recognize me from earlier this semester. My name is Cole Coots. I run Mavericks for Change, which is a progressive advocacy organization. We've kind of been busy this semester cooperating with students and faculty, talking about cut programs and retrenchments, which is why I'm here today to kind of advance our legislative agenda, at least for the year, which we would hope to get passed by December 3rd, but I understand how this, this body works. Regardless, I'm just going to give you a general breakdown of kind of the reasoning behind this legislation and what it does, and open up room for questions, or just extend the ability for you guys to come and collaborate with Mavericks for Change to kind of get this stuff passed, because I do think it is a genuine reflection of the students' interests here. So I'll just get started. My organization recognizes the fundamental purpose of student government is accountability, granting the students autonomy over their campus to make decisions impactful to their peers and demonstrate their mutual trust to represent our interests. It's because of, and not despite, your aptitude as advocates that Mavericks for Change presents this legislative agenda. The resolution to condemn retrenchment and resolution for ethical disclosure are equally representative of student consensus, particularly that the opaque, marketized, and impractical decision-making of this administration has significantly deteriorated the educational accessibility, prestige, and moral clarity of our university. Tuition hikes, program cuts, retrenchment, and a blatant unwillingness to address our fiscal concerns demand the language of these resolutions and the cooperation of student advocates to oversee their passage. Before this semester began, students were subjected to the cancellation of 86 programs, a majority being Bachelor of Arts degrees and certifications, citing low enrollment and budgetary restrictions, despite a historic tuition increase of 8%. It should be reiterated that, especially regarding arts programs, these cancellations simply axe degree requirements, which initially came without cost, disincentivizing students from learning languages like French and German while pursuing their Bachelors of Science counterpart. As professors are being dismissed for low enrollment, this endangers fields of study which prioritize languages, especially American Indigenous Studies, whose Ojibwe language classes steward an intergenerational movement to preserve a language stifled by the genocide of Native Americans. These cuts indicate not merely a mismanaged budgetary constraint, but a concerning ideological shift, as gender and women's studies, international business, and social studies are eliminated alongside certifications for culturally responsive teaching, cultural diversity, and numerous renewable energies. This painfully contradicts the commitments of our administration. This painfully contradicts the commitments our administration has made to preserve DEI initiatives and reveals a serious disregard for humanities programs whose benefits both to campus enrichment and social reform are well documented. As somebody who appreciates the contributions and academic achievements of peers in STEM, I must stress that the balance which ethics, philosophy, and sociology shares with scientific achievement is both imperative and mutually beneficial to discoveries and innovations which enhance our lives. The sudden, unceremonious, and vaguely justified retrenchment of 7 tenured professors should alarm everyone invested in academic expression and the practical management of our programs. For civil engineering alone, retrenchment accompanied the retirement of other staff within the department, resulting in unsustainable and disproportionate class sizes, which diminish their capability to instruct at the individual level. This purely financialized decision making, which robbed capable and professional instructors of their careers, was clearly made without consideration for student experience or staff cohesion. According to the union, it wasn't even made within the confines of financial constraints, as it occurred without a hiring freeze or symmetrical considerations for administrative staff. So I put forward the resolution to condemn retrenchment, which concisely captures the disappointment and instability felt by staff and students, who both must grapple with marketized funding and dwindling, unsustainable faculty-to-student ratios, which deteriorate the quality of our education. Professors must teach their courses with confidence that opinions, subjects, and curriculum deemed unmarketable still carry an academic value that's recognized by this administration. And moreover, students must have confidence that censorship of their college experience, be this ideological, financial, or otherwise, will prompt the condemnation of their senators. Moreover, it presses administration both to abide by the labor stipulations provided in their collective bargaining agreement and to telegraph decisions like these throughout the future. As advocates amongst the student body, I trust that you will recognize the value of those assurances. Secondly, the resolution for ethical disclosure represents a culmination of years spent tirelessly negotiating for the divestment of this university from the Palestinian genocide. While endless debate was spent upon the merits and considerations of divestment, our alumni donations, federal grants, and excess tuition dollars were all, to some extent, financing a campaign for mass starvation and ethnic cleansing. This bill seeks only to understand which corporations have profiteered genocide with the backing of our dollar, which is neither an act of moral grandstanding nor an unfeasible demand, but simply the right thing to do. Moreover, it will request the Foundation Board draft an ESG proposal which publicly highlights ethical guidelines for investment. In the coming weeks, I will be communicating and cooperating with this body on behalf of my organization to revise and oversee the passage of these resolutions and hopefully champion a new commitment to academic integrity and administrative transparency. I hope to connect with all of you, but you can reach out to me at cole.coots@mnsu.edu or talk to your colleagues, Eli Foster, Bob Johnson. They're both sponsoring these resolutions. So that's really all I have to say there.
Thank you so much. Do we have any questions? Yes, Senator Zelmer.
Hi, thanks for coming in today. My question is about the condemning retrenchment proposal. So it's not like, it's more about the wording than it is actually about like I agree that we should say that we can't be firing these professors out of nowhere, especially with not giving them any hope of getting like future jobs and kind of ruining programs. But the retrenchment part, like the actual definition of it is the reduction of costs or spending in response to economic difficulty. And if we go back to like 2020 when COVID hit, I'm assuming that this university had to cut some spending in like due to this economic kind of difficulty, which is out of nowhere. So I think using the wording of condemning retrenchment, it can be used against the university in the future were we to come to an economic kind of downfall again, even if it's a different kind of situation. I don't know what the new wording would be, but it's just kind of my own thoughts on it.
Well, I understand that. So to begin with, I don't necessarily think that in the future people will come to the precedent of the resolution to condemn retrenchment, specifically to condemn future retrenchment acts. The purpose specifically of condemning retrenchment here in this act is because the faculty union has put forward a fairly compelling case that these professors were dismissed without very serious or well-defined financial constraints from the university. The best reasoning that they were given from provost was resource allocation, which could mean a numerous amount of things, and is, I'd say, a pretty disingenuous reason to give professors who are you are now just dismissing. But to your point about the language of the resolution, I would like to specifically keep the condemnation part in, because I do think that it is a contemptible thing to do. And I hope this wouldn't be received as pressure, but I would hope to see the student government come forward with a little more definitive explanation of what precisely was wrong here and what they would like to see in the future. So as far as, I would like to keep condemn, but we could also revise the language to say to condemn the faculty dismissals of 2024 or something in the like there. Yeah.
Thank you. Respecting the meeting's time, make sure your reply is a little shorter.
Sorry. Yes, can do.
President Colvin.
Hello, Cole. Thank you for coming in. I just wanted to give a comment to the Senate that there is a post on the Senate channel for the 2 resolutions to be discussed. So if you ever want to view the resolutions and see what the current draft of them are right now, you definitely can go there. I'd highly recommend talking to Cole about the situation. I know he's very open to conversations, and I look forward to seeing where this plays out between the rest of the semester.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
You have still more questions.
I still have more questions.
Yeah. So Senator Dietrich, followed by Senator Stokes, followed by Senator Wickersham. Was your placard up? Okay.
My question is very quick. Have you been working directly with like the union that represents the faculty at all, or is this more coming just from Mavericks for Change and maybe some folks that you work with?
Well, yes, we have been cooperating directly with representatives from the union, particularly Danielle Huck has been very good at giving us information that the union might have passed on to the university. Particularly, they made, I believe, either a private or public statement kind of discussing the retrenchment arguments against it. And a lot of that has kind of been informed in our decision making, at least with the resolution to condemn retrenchment. Aside from that, we have also actually been cooperating with some retrenched faculty to kind of understand their side of the story. And that's particularly where a lot of the comments regarding, the student to faculty ratio, those concerns come into play. Because, these professors like their jobs. I imagine people would. But they are also deeply concerned with the student experience of being able to go to a classroom and have an instructor available to you at all times, especially where civil engineering is concerned. That's a really rigorous course. And so I would want a professor available to me at all times. But the financialized decision making didn't take that into account, which is something that I implemented into the resolution.
Thank you. Senator Hiluka.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for coming today. My question for you is about the lack of a hiring freeze that you mentioned.
Yes.
I've heard a couple different angles about this, but kind of one thing that I've heard is that a solid chunk of the newly added positions to the university are the result of external funding being added into specific departments. So while it might seem on paper like, we are firing these people or we're retrenching these people, but we're also hiring new people. I've heard that the funds for the hiring of the new people are not exactly transferable over to, like, say, the departments that these people were cut from. What do you know about that? Are you aware of anything along those lines?
So the general basis of the information that I have about the hiring freeze was specifically that we had, as we were dismissing these professors on financial grounds, we were bringing in a bunch of new professors, or rather new professors, new staff, a lot of new faculty at the same time. I was not aware that this was coming from an external funding source. But I would still like to emphasize that an 8% raise in tuition is quite a lot of money. And I feel confident saying that that is enough money to sustain the careers of 7 faculty, especially while we bring in so many more new ones.
Any more questions? All right, thank you so much for the open forum speech. Please give him a big round of applause. I'd also like to remind any senator that will be sponsoring or being the author for a resolution, I can only put the resolution in the agenda if it is submitted to me in proper formatting order before Monday 10 p.m. or it will not be administered to the agenda per se, can't be voted upon. So please keep that in mind and then make sure you have well formatted version of it submitted on time. If you need help with the formatting, there are many examples on Teams and you can also email Amber about it. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
We now move forward with our Dean of the Day. I'd like to invite Peter D. Hart, who is our Assistant Provost for Research and Dean of Graduate Studies.
Thank you. Associate Provost. I just got a demotion right here. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, just a few informational items I wanted to share with this group. Thank you for having me today. And these are all related to our graduate education here. As I mentioned at some of the student government forums last year, we are again sponsoring Graduate Student Appreciation Week. Really excited to make that a more robust entity here at MSU Mankato. Coming up, it's right around the corner. April 6th through the 10th is Grad Student Appreciation Week. And we're planning professional development opportunities, student engagement activities. So stay tuned. If you have some feedback as students on the type of swag that you would like to see or you would like graduate students to get, please chime in and reach out to our office. We are developing something new for MSU Mankato, not something new nationally, something called a 3MT competition. This stands for 3-minute thesis, but I don't want you to get in your mind that it all has to do with a thesis. We have many graduate programs here that have a culminating experience that is not technically called a thesis. This is essentially an experience where students present to a public audience in 3 minutes the bulk of some culminating work that they've done in their graduate degree. It is a logistical challenge and masterpiece when it's done well. So this is going to take us some time to really get all of these things in motion. This was actually a movement that was started in Australia. We just got permission to even use the term 3MT because this is a trademarked entity in how it's conducted. So it's going to take us a good year. We hope to launch this in the next academic year, but wanted to give everyone a heads up because oftentimes it takes students a little bit to get something to the point where they feel comfortable presenting it in front of an audience. There are some rewards associated with it, as well as us sponsoring folks to go to regional and national competitions. Really, it's about translation of work in a simplified component. Students are allowed no more than 1 slide and 3 minutes to get their whole impression across. So just wanted to kind of mention this now, get the wheels turning as you, if you're an undergrad, as you continue on and pursue your graduate degree here at MSU Mankato, something to think about. If you're currently a graduate student, something also to think about and spread to your peers. We have a fund, a graduate student travel grant that we just wanted to let you know this is a rolling application process and it's open now. So graduate students that are presenting at professional conferences are invited to apply for that. And then just a reminder, I would be remiss if I didn't make sure to tell folks that graduate students need to apply for graduation. This is a very important step and it is a distinguishment from the undergraduate career. Oftentimes graduate students come in at very different points and there's not necessarily a direct flow of which course they take one in front of the next. So we need the student to give us the indicator that they intend to graduate. So applications for those that are planning to graduate in this academic year, whether it happens to be fall 2025, spring or summer, please remember to make sure that you apply for graduation. You can reach out to our office with that. With that, we have some workshops coming up by some different groups, but I'm not going to just rattle off a litany of dates. I'm happy to address any questions.
Do you have any questions for our Dean of the Day? All right, Seeing none, thank you so much for a wonderful presentation. Please give him a big round of applause, everyone. We now move forward with our officer reports and President Colleran.
Oh, hello everyone. So my office report, when you look at the agenda, it does look a little short, but I promise you'll still be as long as always. So we'll keep going with that. So first off, for advocacy conference, we had an advocacy conference on Friday afternoon and Saturday. There was really good conversations. We had a small but mighty delegation coming with us towards that. We got to talk to, I believe, four legislators on New Armstrong, also the fully funded tuition freeze, and we're going to continue those conversations with them over email across this week and next week. So really good conversations on that Friday. And then Saturday, we did have I want to say 4-hour town hall with the rest of the universities in the Mid-State system about what kind of priorities we want to do with the Mid-State system, what kind of priorities we want to advocate for across the state and federal level. And some things that came up was definitely student basic needs, college affordability, any disparities that international students face. So a lot of the conversations come up, and they will translate what happened in that town hall to what will be discussed during the legislative agenda that I will be approving as a board member in December. So I look forward to keeping you on the loop on that and getting more information as the further developments happen. Going on to the food drive, there was an outreach from the Student Athletic Advisory Commission, and they're doing a food drive. The food drive starts today and goes until November 26th. So we got a week or two until the food drive goes, and we're talking with the Basic Needs Committee to make sure we have as much effort as possible to have that happen and get as much food over as possible to people who need it. So if you have any interest in that, don't be afraid to reach out to myself or Brent Livingston for Basic Needs. Now on to a couple other things I got. So there was a lot of things that happened between yesterday and today. So I'm just going to do a couple recaps. So programming for student government, we have a lot of things coming up. We have coffee and conversations and off-campus town hall. So we have coffee and conversations on November 20th, Monday at 2 p.m. And then we also have off-campus town hall on Tuesday, November 18th at 5:30 p.m. So I'll be making sure to post all the information, but we're less than a week away from the town hall, so I appreciate as much participation as possible and seeing where that turns out. Next thing is that yesterday we had a budget summit, and I got to represent students through there and see all lovely conversations for that. Some highlights that are relevant to students. There was a student wage subgroup created. And we're always looking to analyze what's happening with student wages and minimum wages being produced for the next few academic years. I'll be happy to talk to a couple of you to try to advocate for that 1350 that we've been hoping for the past few years and go through there. And then when it comes to tuition, there's also conversations for tuition starting to ramp up a little bit. We're looking into the tuition for next semester. Our budget is going to reach a structural deficit starting next semester. And right now, the rhetoric that's being framed for that structural deficit is going to be classified as inflationary pressure and inflationary deficit. And there's conversations on the university raising tuition on that inflationary pressure. There's some pressure from student government pushing back on that, just to make sure that the amount from the students' pockets is as little as possible, especially when there was an amount of 8% increase across between last academic year and this academic year. So just a couple updates for y'all. I look forward to keeping you all updated on that. Second to last thing, we have class registration come up really fast. I registered for classes. I know people are registering for classes too. Friendly reminder to make sure you don't have any classes between 3 to 6 p.m. on Wednesdays, and just make sure you're able to participate as much as you can for student government. Final thing, I've been talking about RHA for a little bit, and I recognize that we have the Minecraft premium meal in the University Dining Center later tonight. And I am very much looking forward to enjoying that. And if anyone wants to join, just enjoying a premium meal and just hang out with student government people, I'm more than happy to have that happen. So thank you so much. I know it's a lot of information, but I'd be happy to yield to questions. And I hope you all are doing well.
Are there any questions for our president? All right, seeing none, we move forward with our Vice President Catholic Officer report.
Hi everyone, welcome back. Before I begin my officer report, there are two coordinators that me and your president think are doing an exceptional job running the committee. We did talk about committees and everything that's going on with the committees a few days ago. I think that was Monday. And we were talking about different coordinators, and we feel there are two coordinators who are going above and beyond and doing everything that they can for their committee. Not saying others are not, everyone is doing good, but there are two who are going above and beyond, and those are your Coordinator Livingston for Basic Needs and Coordinator Morris for Legislative Affairs. I've seen the way both of them run their committee, both of them handle things, both of them do it, and I'm really proud of the way that they run their committee. So I just wanted to acknowledge them here today in front of you guys. And on a bad side, there are a couple of you who are impossible to reach. I have sent you guys the Teams message or email probably a week ago, and I've still not got response in that. I do understand life is busy, a lot of things are going on. However, I need you to understand that communication is the key, and we expect you to reply to us or communicate with us or just reply your emails in general in like 2 to 3 business days. We are as busy as you are, and I promise I do everything to reply people on time. So please communicate. And even if something is going on in your life, because life happens, obviously, I would not know about it until and unless you come and talk to me about it. So please let us know. Now let's dive back to my officer report. First, the dining contract. So we're currently reviewing questionnaires filled by different companies, and we have around 210 questionnaires to review, and I'm working on that. The deadline is Friday. However, I do have one other additional person in this room who has been helping me with that, Senator Hiluka, who has been staying with me in my office for hours, and we will probably be there tomorrow, whole day, whole evening. I don't know what time works the best for us, but we will be doing that, and we will be reviewing it by Friday. So if anyone of you wants to kind of see what is going on or wants to have your input, please reach out to me. Please talk to me. I will make sure that I voice out your opinion later in the future. And couple of updates on the meeting that we had. The past week we had meet and confer where we were given a lot of updates. Once again, reminder for things that I've said for 2 weeks now. This Tuesday, November 18th from 1 to 3 p.m. in CSU 253 and Wednesday, November 19th on 2 to 4 p.m. in Ostrander. These are the dates of session where they will be discussing the potential name changing of DEI. And please do attend that. If you are in DI committee, make sure you go in there, even if not just to represent students' voices and see what they've thought about. Please try to attend that, especially the one that's in Tuesday on November 18th from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. in CSU 253. The other update that was given to us was about update in D2L. The university has updated a service in D2L, which is called USA Panorama, whatever that is, very bad at tech, but that thing. So if you see on the right side of your D2L announcement, you've been given details on basically what it is. So just an overview of it. It allows you to download your PDF or any of your class materials in any of the format that you like, be it your PDF, be it audio, be it, I think you can even translate it in another language just to make learning more accessible. They are planning on sending an all-student email later, but right now we want to give time to professors to actually come and then know about it, learn about it first, and then start doing that. But that is an update. Another important update that was made was for international student, KIC has a certain amount of money for emergency grant that is set. Before, those were only applied to tuition. However, this year they are planning on distributing that some amount of those to students directly. Because let's be honest, for international student, there are times when tuition is not, or paying your tuition is not your major priority. You might have an accident, you might have another financial needs in another different section other than your tuition, right? So that is the plan that they have, and us as cabinet, we really support that decision. Lastly, let me see. Yeah. So there were talks of our university going on structural deficit in the spring semester, and they are planning on to have additional tuition increase to deal with inflation. But the cabinet strongly stands against that decision, because after an 8% increase last year, students are nowhere in condition to pay for more. Or inflation is affecting students as well, not just the university. So we will be standing with students. We will be advocating for tuition freeze, which we have done over and over again. And I think this is one of the most important updates during this meet and confer. Furthermore, we have a couple of meetings coming up. We have one-on-one with President Inch, meeting with City and University tomorrow, meeting with Vice President Morris, meeting with Vice President John, expanded cabinet. And that's for my officer report. And if you guys have any questions about any of the topics that I talked about.
Any questions for Vice President Kafka? All right, seeing none, thank you so much. I will move forward with my officer report now. There are a few updates that I'd like to give. First of all, we had the first formal meeting for Operating Procedure Task Force yesterday during my office hours. The document has officially started. The first draft has begun, and we will be giving you update every Senate meeting, and then hopefully it gets done within this week or by the next. The second meeting that we will be doing will be on Friday, which will be exactly before the expanded cabinet meeting, from 12 to 1, and then we have expanded cabinet from 1 to 2. So that is pretty much clear. We also discussed that the Operating Procedure Task Force will be meeting twice in a week to furthermore give our time and try to get done with this as soon as possible. Our projected goal is to complete this before this semester and then present it, have it voted upon, and then make sure we move on with it. The second update is for kickball. So for all of you who know, who don't know about it, we have kickball happening November 19th, I believe, from 5 p.m. in Dome. So make sure you reach out to me if you are going to be there so that we can talk strategies and, you know, win the cup again. Do I have any other questions? Any questions regarding anything? All right, seeing none, that is all for my officer report. We now move forward with our senator report. I'd like to invite Senator Morris.
Slideshow that is weirdly set up. So I'll just say next slide when I get to the point. I think you can full page it.
That's good enough?
I think you can literally full page it top right. The arrows.
Slow computer.
It's next to.
There we go. There we go. All right. Alright, so, you know, I said my report would be short and sweet today, but I honestly don't know if that's gonna be the case. But, so the aviation project I'm working on is well underway. I've established contact and I'm in continuous communication with the Aviation Student Advisory Board, the aviation faculty, and university leaders who have been monitoring the situations and issues occurring out at the airport. I'm pleased to inform you all that many of the issues are being addressed as staff has worked to implement new plans aimed at resolving a lot of the problems that I had brought up initially at the beginning of the semester. The airport notably recognizes that scheduling had needed very immediate and rapid attention. So it appears that they have developed some sort of plan to ensure that scheduling issues are smoothed out by implementing a block scheduling system and confirming that students are flying during the allowable times by their schedules. That being by aligning their schedules with their academic and work commitments. Yesterday, the faculty had sent out an email to all of the aviation students asking them to submit their classes and their work schedules to draft those times blocks for the spring semester, as they're going to be rolling that out in serious force, as it was more of a preliminary thing this semester. I'll be keeping close tabs on this, making sure that they are working, consistent, and they're actually effective at smoothing out those scheduling problems. Additionally, one of the bigger ones that I thought was pretty surprising how quickly they had fixed this, but financial transparency out at the airport has also seen a significant improvement, particularly for students paying out of pocket. North Star Aviation has worked to provide clearer displays of costs and the reasonings behind those final charges, which, by the way, we could go to the next slide. Oh.
My computer. Okay.
I can wait.
I love my computer.
You might have to wait until tomorrow.
Okay, so this is the basic timeline of what was happening. We kind of already skipped through this, so next slide again, I'm so sorry. And another one. Perfect, all right, right there, perfect, wonderful. So yeah, financial transparency got a little better. While I personally have not reviewed a lot of the very specific example that they had told me about for kind of itemized things and the system balance and stuff, I have seen an example from a student that I can't share because it's their own financial situation. So they've basically created this sort of balance report within their system they call Talent. Talent Systems, it's a aviation platform that they do aviation scheduling. Many aviation schools use that. It's old, it's kind of like e-services, but worse, I would say. Let's just say that and leave it there. Safety out there has been getting a little better, especially with the air traffic control tower being planned and allotted to be completed and fully staffed by April 27, which I doubt that's gonna happen, but the city's kind of held to that, so hopefully it will. Another thing that had come up was instructor teaching experience, sort of more into the fact that their well-being is kind of affecting that. The appeals process of student fees, those have kind of come up as the new issue, top of mind. Tomorrow I'll be meeting with city officials to gather updates on the construction of the air traffic control tower, which will, like I said, create a much more safer environment once completed. And just to note, aviation safety and airport safety is taken very seriously by all parties, North Star, the school, students, instructors, chief instructors, very seriously. There are many different systems to report those safety concerns, both out at the airport, at the university, and instructors. So continued meetings with faculty and hopefully out at the airport will ensure that these systems are accessible and they are made aware to students. Which so far has worked great because they are now putting a lot of this stuff in orientation, which I was also surprised that they did, but also not surprised at the same time. There are many positives and highlights, particularly in the progress my team has made with those things. However, there are still those concerns that I have mentioned previously. So that instructor, teaching experience and well-being, the punishment appeals process, and the fees charged to students for no-shows. While I don't have a personal dispute regarding the no-show fee, I have expressed concern about the I'm safe fee. And I'm safe is basically a way for pilots to judge if they're safe to fly. It's illness, medical, like medicine. Now I'm blanking on this and I used to have to know this. Whatever, I'm safe is basically making sure that you're safe to fly. So these fee policies, as it currently stands, if a student invokes the I'm safe rule, basically saying that they're not safe to fly, they might be drunk, they might be sick, they might sickness, whatever else. They actually do get charged a fee after 3 times doing this within any lab. The lab structure is supposed to be done within a semester. However, people can fly over that semester and end up making it maybe be a year for one lab. But the I'm safe rule only resets after a new lab starts. So they get 3, and that might extend to a year, and they will face penalties such as $100 the first time, $200 the second time, $300 the third time, and you'll be expelled from the aviation program. So I personally think it's unfair for students. So I would say it's subcommittee. I propose modifying that I'm safe rule going forward with each semester, or alternatively providing a way for students to submit that proof of illness through a more flexible mean, as the current policy requires a doctor's note to get it waived, which isn't always feasible when someone is sick outside of regular clinic hours, such as when the student health center is out, or not, when the student health center is closed during summer or spring, or sorry, winter break. There's a few other things, but I think I've made time, so I'm gonna leave it at that for now.
Thank you so much. Do we have any questions for Senator? Do we have any questions? All right, seeing none, thank you so much, Senator Morris. It was a wonderful Senator report. Now I'd like to invite Senator Reyes.
Okay, so hi again, everybody. For my Senate report 2 is, I'm gonna try to keep it shorter to meet within the time limit. So there's a couple things that are included in my report. It's all in teams, but I'll kind of talk a little bit about them. The first thing I want to talk about is still the project ongoing to increase graduate student pay. So during the, not yesterday, but the previous budget sub-meet that I am the graduate student representative of, President Colleran was able to get a motion on the floor to create a committee within the budget subcommittee to talk about graduate student pay. There was some process on that end, but on another front, I was able to get my name and face and contact information in the graduate student newsletter recently. So I've been able to reach my constituents in that way because there's not really a graduate student hub that we all can like hang out with and stuff like that. So I figured that's a good way to get my name out and get my face out there. I've been getting in contact with a few graduate students and just kind of talking about like some concerns that they have. A lot of it has to do with, again, graduate student pay figures. And a lot of it was talking within my own cohort with international students, and it's especially strenuous on a lot of international students because oftentimes they're not allowed to get jobs outside of their graduate teaching assistantship. So they're always looking for things to, like, if they're able to get a car, then they have to do Uber or DoorDash. And they have to find little ways to basically stay afloat and live off the stipend while living in living conditions that aren't the greatest, because I think a lot of off-campus senators know that not all the cheaper apartment options are really the best to live in. So a lot of the feedback I've been getting is just how to better survive on the stipend that they're given, how to survive in a new environment and still find a community while still trying to basically stay afloat. So I'm hoping to gather some testimonials in order to strengthen our argument on why graduate student pay should be increased. I have to make sure I follow the right channels in order to do so. I can't I have to go through like IRB if I want to submit surveys and stuff like that. So I just want to make sure I'm doing the proper channels. But I hope in that realm, it would hopefully further the cause. The other thing I've been working on is trying to get graduate students more involved with one another. Within the comm department, they're doing this really cool thing. They establish a community and wellness committee. So essentially, it's for grad students to basically meet up, get together, and just get to know one another. Recently, they have movie nights. They watch the new Demon Hunter movie together up in Armstrong. They do coffee and cookies events where they just go and get snacks, and they all just order a bunch of food and get in a classroom and spend like 3 hours together. And they can bring like their wives or their partners or their kids if they have them. And I think it's a great way to get graduate students to get to know one another and get them involved. So I'm trying to figure out a way to do that because again, it's kind of tough to know other graduate students, but know graduate students who aren't teaching assistants, who aren't on campus all the time, like in the main offices. So really just trying to get my outreach out there as much as possible. And then the last thing I want to talk about is through a rigorous selection process, I was chosen the election commissioner. So I've been trying to follow through with my roles with that too, with the help of Senator Johnson, Senator Cummings, and all that. So that's what I've been up to. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Do we have any questions or comments? Yes, Vice President Kafle.
I just have a comment to add on what Senator Reyes said, that he did talk about students going outside and working and trying to at least do something. But international students, on the other hand, they can't even do that. They can DoorDash or they cannot do anything. And graduate students are only allowed to work 14 hours on campus. So even those who do not have graduate assistants are struggling at the same time. So I just want to urge all of you to support the cause, because it is really difficult to live off of what is given, and on top of that, not even being able to go outside and earn additional, even if you want to.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, thank you so much, Senator Reyes. That was a wonderful report. Now, our final report for today is Senator Anderson.
Thank you very much. Well, I may have brought a piece of life-saving equipment with me today. So we have obtained an AED. So over the past several months, myself and a few other fellow senators have been working together to collaborate on the AED, the Project AED 365 initiative, and the efforts to strengthen cardiac emergency preparedness and safety response across campus, specifically in the CSEP buildings. As of yesterday, we officially received both the Zoll AED-3 and the wall mount that is needed to put it in a proper place. So this marks a major milestone in the project. And I've been coordinating with Kyle Davis from University Security, who has been assisting with the next steps of implementation for this project. And the AED cabinet will be keyed to match the common AED key system that our university security uses, ensuring that the responders are consistent and that the keys match up across all of campus as to keep it in regulations. Kyle's also connected with facilities, who has confirmed that we should have no charge for the installation of this AED box being mounted, which will allow us to complete this project effectively and within the scope of time. We are now in the final planning processes and phases, working with facility to determine an optimal placement for this AED. Proposed locations would ideally be Armstrong Hall or Nelson Hall, just to kind of split that gap in response time, whether that be from going from Morris to Armstrong or WeSync to Nelson, just so people aren't having to go all the way to Trafton Central to get an AED within the CSET buildings. Once the AED is installed, our focus will be shifted towards phase 2 of this project, which is improving signage and campus maps to include and make the AED locations more clear and visible and accessible. So that way faculty, university security, the general public and us students are able to know where our AEDs are and be able to effectively find our way to them in the amount of time that's appropriate for response. I yield the floor to questions.
Thank you so much. Do we have any questions for Senator Anderson? Yes, Senator Wickersham.
Can you provide us with information on where the funding for this AED came from?
So the funding for the AED is actually through AED 365 project, an initiative. And basically, the American Heart Association Club and myself applied for this. Basically, it's kind of like a monthly drawing that's done and that occurs. And it's a little bit of writing you have to do, kind of explaining the need for it. And we were November's recipient for this. And through this club, and the club will be donating the AED to the university.
Any other questions? Yes, Senator Nguyen.
So I think it's a great initiative. I was wondering, so who is everybody authorized to use, or just selected people that has training? Or?
So it is ideally supposed to be used by someone who has training. The Zoll AED3 model does have a graphics window in the front that provides a video of kind of how to do it. And with the Zoll AED3 model, there is purple pad that goes over the sternum of the chest that actually will tell you how effectively you are doing CPR and can coach you through it in a way, making it more accessible to the general public who may not have as much training.
Any other questions? All right, seeing none, thank you so much for your report. Please give a big round of applause to all the senators for their really wonderful. And I'd also like to announce the senator reports for the following week. We have Senator Hyber, Senator Stokes, Senator Nguyen from at large, Senator Hillstead. Res Life, sorry, yeah. And Senator Hillstead, and finally Senator Liu. So these 5 are the senators who will be presenting senator reports. Also make sure if there is any senators who wishes to give reports every week or like on the following week, please reach out to me. We can always accommodate the name, and it is not compulsory necessary that only the people that we announce give senator reports. So if there is anything to be presented or anything that you'd like to share, please reach out to me and we will like accommodate it to the agenda itself. We now move forward with vacancies. Currently, we have 6 vacant spots left, 3 for Senator College of Allied Health and Nursing, 1 for Senator College of Business, 1 for Senator Graduate Studies, and 1 for Senator Residential Life. Keep in mind, budget season's super near, so we gotta make sure we fill out the seats as soon as possible. And Do we have any candidates here today? I didn't receive any applications, so I believe there is none. But please make sure you reach out to all your colleagues, reach out to all your friends who you think deserves this spot and is willing to talk and fight for the students of the university to represent them. We now move forward with our old business. Last week, we had a resolution presented to us, which was fully funded tuition freeze resolution, which was tabled for this meeting. I'd like to continue this old business with the author and the sponsors, just giving a brief overview.
Start. Thank you. We've continued to fine tune this and have some meetings. I got to meet with Senator Kabud earlier today and talk about some of our next steps that as groups and individuals we will be taking if this successfully passes, including President Colleran's work in collaborating with Students United and strengthening our collective voice. And if this does pass, I'll be reaching out to our equivalent of Students United at the U of M, their Student Senate, and try to gauge their interest in supporting this as well. A research librarian here at our library has already offered to provide us with information and resources as we try to build the most compelling case for this, admittedly a long shot effort, but a worthwhile effort. And from President Colleran's message earlier, it's all the more important now, having heard that, and the possibility of another tuition increase on top of the one that we're all paying in right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob, for speaking on that. Like, I want to reiterate everything he's saying. Like, when it comes to a tuition freeze, it's very important that when it comes to being in higher education, making sure the services done by higher education is still operating and still sufficient. But it's really good to see that that sufficiency is not coming primarily from the pocket of the student body. And seeing a fully funded tuition freeze where the legislator of Minnesota could fully fund any possible increases that could be brought to this university, whether it be contracts or inflationary, I believe is a really good initiative. I look forward to having conversations right now with y'all through this resolution, but also going things beyond this resolution as well. I've been having conversations with the people representing the public colleges, the technical colleges, lead them as well. And I look forward to continuing those conversations and making sure that there is more happenings with the tuition freeze and more things that will be able to put this on legislators' agenda for not only this legislative session, but hopefully into next biennium, so we could hopefully get a fully funded tuition freeze by the next biennium. So I really would appreciate some discussion and just your thoughts on this and see where we take it from there.
All right, first of all, are there any questions? All right, are there any points of motion on the floor? Any points or motion on the floor to take it to discussion? Yes, Senator.
Motion to take it into discussion.
All right, second, okay. Any dissents? All those in favor of this motion, please raise your placard. All right, all those against it? Thank you. We are now in discussion. All those senators who wishes to speak on this resolution, please raise your placard. I'll jot down your names. All right, Senator Wickersham, followed by Senator Hiluka, followed by Senator Dietrich, followed by Vice President Kafle, followed by Senator Morris, followed by Senator Aubart, and followed by Senator Frost. We'll begin with Senator Wickersham.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. While many senators have, some senators have noted that this is a bit of a long shot that we get this passed, and that or that we get this passed by the Minnesota State Legislature, I think it is still worth our time to support this because if for no other reason, because of the last whereas clause stating that in article, or second to last, sorry, as stated in chapter 135A.01 in the 2025 Minnesota statutes, the Minnesota State Legislature and government commits to funding public higher education in the state at a rate of 67%. And that this promise is not kept. We know that this promise is not kept from comments by President Inch himself last week when asked whether or not the University of Minnesota State University Mankato receives 67% of funding from the state. He responded that in fact we do not. We only receive about 27% of our budget from the state. And when asked whether or not the entire Minnesota state system as a whole even receives 67% of its funding from the state, he responded that it, again, does not. Only 50 to 55% of the entire system receives its funding from the state. The simple matter of this is that whether or not we can get the legislature to pass this, they have broken a promise that they made to the people, not just of this university or other universities in the state, but they've broken a promise to the entire state of Minnesota.
Thank you. Senator Hilluka.
Yeah, I'd just like to comment a little bit about the final clause, the be it further resolved. I think realistically, if we wanted to make any progress on this, it would be of great help to get the university administration on board. So I will be pushing a yes vote because this resolution has a statement that we can present to the university administration to get them on board with it. So I encourage everybody to vote yes on this with me.
Thank you so much. Senator Dietrich.
I want to emphasize a yes vote on this resolution. Not only is it going to provide necessary relief to students with their tuition dollars, but also supply the university with the funding it needs to do necessary work that includes contracts and the inflation. So because when tuition freeze happens, but it's not fully funded, the university just has to cut funding from different areas to make up for the lack of additional funding. So I emphasize a yes vote. Student morale is struggling currently. We know this because we have programs that have ended and we have students here talking to us about how they feel about that. We have students coming to us to talk about retrenchment. We have an 8% increase in tuition with a potential for another tuition increase next semester. Students have a breaking point, and a fully funded tuition freeze would help alleviate the potential for students to reach that breaking point.
Thank you so much, Senator Dietrich. Vice President Kafle.
So I've time and again mentioned about how I am against universities' decision to increase their tuition fees, and I am. However, we do have to understand that they're trying to do that because they're not getting funding from other places, and that is how they're trying to increase funding to get that balance. However, if we're able to get this fully funded tuition fee, then university would not have to make decision of increasing our tuition, because meeting with administrators almost every week, I've realized that they themselves do not want to do it either, but they are forced to do it because they have to deal with inflation. So I will be passing a yes vote to this, because right now students are in no position to pay additional tuition fees, because they are already suffering with the 8% that we did last year as well.
Thank you so much, Vice President Kafle. Senator Morris.
Okay, so just to touch upon a previous senator's statement regarding that whereas with the 67% there. The 67%, that is actually a demand of the state system as a whole. The state of Minnesota provides the state system as a whole and says that they're gonna say that we're gonna fund 67% of your budget. And then the allocation model of the state system, then goes to all of the different universities under the state system. The trouble is that the state system is prioritizing 2-year schools over 4-year schools. So until we can tell Mid-State that the 4-year schools need to be more fair to the 2-year schools, then it's going to be difficult hitting that 67%. Just with that alone. That's a completely different side topic though. That's something I learned both at a Students United meeting and at the Students United conference, which is unfortunate to know because Mankato specifically uses our resources very, very efficiently. And ideally we deserve that fund to cover more of our tuition and whatnot, but unfortunately the state system is just not providing it. Additionally, while I think a fully funded tuition freeze is a completely wonderful, awesome idea, I'm not sure the fiscal possibility that it can be done at the state level, just given the situation at the federal level where they're cutting a lot of funds for universities and now Medicaid. And if Medicaid goes, then the state obviously is going to pay for Medicaid, and the first bucket it's going to take out of is going to be higher ed, and that's just the unfortunate truth about it all. While I absolutely love the idea of a fully funded tuition freeze, it's going to be really hard, especially when we're asking for $400 million for Armstrong Hall already. So I like the idea. I personally will vote yes, but I just don't think the state will be able to do anything. So
Thank you so much. Senator Obart.
So I was just curious because I know you mentioned possibly reaching out to the student government team at the U of M, and I was curious what your plan with that is, and I don't know, just like the general process of that. I don't know who mentioned reaching out, but that was my main question, was like, what does that do, pairing up with the U of M student government?
You want me to answer that?
Yeah, sure.
I kind of went back and forth on the idea. It was a suggestion, I think in the committee meeting last Wednesday. And it was really good. And I just went back and forth thinking about, do I want to reach out by email? They have a website, and so I was able to find the ways to reach out to them. But I didn't want to do it. I ultimately decided I didn't want to do it until this body had voted on this measure to kind of give us the power to go ahead and try this admittedly tall task, difficult task. So if this passes and we kind of have that permission to keep moving, tonight or tomorrow I'll be emailing those contemporaries of ours.
Thank you. Senator Frost.
Very, very, very brief statement. I think this is fantastic. I think it should pass. I understand that it's almost certainly not going to happen, but I don't think that means we should not try, because I'm a big advocate of doing what's right for people and sticking up for people, especially my fellow students, even if it's going to be very difficult. So I am a strong yes in favor of this.
Thank you so much. Senator Zellmer.
I agree with Ashton on it being, a really hard ask. The state doesn't have the money. I know people who are on the education finance committees for the Minnesota Senate, and there's just no money there to use. And then also, partially on the wording, when you guys put in the wording that it said that they promised 67%, I don't know what the actual wording in the bill is. I'm trying to figure it out, but it isn't promise. It's a way that they can say, like, we'll try to do it. I don't know what the actual wording is. I'm trying to find it right now, but it's not, the actual wording in the bill that Minnesota passed is not promise to or guarantee to. It's like, we will try to, or we will, that kind of stuff. So just a little bit of the wording part.
Senator Morris?
I think Wicker Sham had us on first.
So just responding to Senators Morris and Zellmer real quick. So first off, the fact of the matter that is that even at the Minnesota State level, as President Inch said, 67% isn't hit. It's not just our university that isn't getting the 67%, it is the entire system.
as for the language of the bill itself, it's linked, like that is a hyperlink. You can look at it through the resolution. I'm trying to find it. I can't. It's way down in my email somewhere. But it does say that this isn't just a goal, but that it is something that they were committing to.
Senator Morris.
Additionally, God, I lost my train of thought now. God, where was I? What was I thinking? Oh yeah, I actually have talked to state legislatures as well. Segas Nolan or Senator Zellmer knows some of the people on the education committee. I'm actually getting in contact and establishing the relationship with the bonding committee with Armstrong. And my biggest thing is that if we're already asking for Armstrong and then we go and say, we want more money, let's just say a certain party's not gonna like it as much anymore. And it's gonna be a lot harder for our allies in the state, at the state level, to try and convince it to make it more bipartisan. That's the biggest trouble I see out of it. But additionally, this is the second comment I had. I think this year they're mostly talking about bonding stuff, so capital, the buildings that the state is funding and whatnot and building around the state. So it wouldn't be till next year, and I'm pretty sure that everyone's aware of that, that will be taught, that they'll be able to even change anything in regards to a funded tuition freeze. So maybe stuff changes, everything turns around in a year and it's possible, but I do think the outlook's a little grim and our state constitution requires a balanced budget, so we can't really take on any debt in a manner that we think we could, to do it as a temporary solution, but I just think it might not be feasible for at least 4 years, unfortunately, even though I really, really like the idea.
Senator Livingston.
I'm also not, I'm one that's also not too keen on kind of long shot financial promises like tuition freeze. But I do think this makes more financial sense than we did an unfunded tuition freeze during the pandemic, which we had good intentions of, right? The reason we did it was because it was a global pandemic, but as we saw post-pandemic, you know, inflation's out of control, just a lot of economic uncertainty. That only made our circumstances worse. And so I would argue that a funded tuition freeze would make more financial sense because that at least gives us a more solid foundation in the future when it comes to the like post funded freeze. At least we'll know that we'll be in a better financial spot than unfunded tuition freeze, if that makes sense. And also regarding Senator Morris's concerns about tacking this onto on top of the Armstrong bonding, I feel like the people that already oppose these kinds of projects are going to oppose it either way. And so I would agree with Senator Frost is that we might as well throw what we can at the wall and see what sticks, if that makes sense. I agree there are concerns. I definitely think they're genuine. I just think that I agree with also what Senator Dietrich said that this is the time to do it because we are at a breaking point when it comes to personal budgets in general. So
Thank you so much. Senator Johnson.
The term in the clause in the statute is intends, which is synonymous with promise or pledge. My guess, and this is speculation, that's the word used specifically as it's the better word in the legalese and in the legislative jargon. Just one more kind of personal plea, as it were. If this were to happen, and again, I completely agree with all the statements of the long shot of this, even if it does, I will have graduated from and with the MFA by then. So I won't get any personal benefit out of this if the fully funded tuition freeze were to happen. What I'm asking for you to do is permit me to continue to work even harder to help other people down the road.
Thank you so much. Senator Wynn.
So I first I want to clarify. So they are providing 67%. It's just that we are not getting the priorities like Senator Morris said, right? That they're prioritizing 2 years institution instead of 4 years.
I can respond if you do. Yeah, so the state system specifically it's very complicated and convoluted, honestly, kind of how it works, but for example, we pay a little over 60% of the total tuition, like the total cost based on our tuition. Whereas a 2-year college, say Hennepin or something, they pay 40% because of how the state system structures the allocation model. I don't think that's fair, but I'm not familiar with what Senator Wickersham had brought up with the state not actually fully funding the 67% of the state system. That I'm not familiar with, that I'd have to dig in with and probably ask him about, but the allocation model side of stuff, yeah. That's something at the mid-state level.
So I would like to add that like.
Senator, you have not been recognized. Senator Kabat.
What I would like to say is earlier when we and Senator Johnson were talking about it, we already knew that it would be a long shot. And we both are graduating soon. And I think nobody here would.
Senator, could you please be audible?
I think nobody here would actually benefit from it. But our responsibility is not just while we are in Senate, but also for the future of the campus and future students and even current students, maybe freshmen by the time they are seniors can benefit from this. And looking at that, I think it's everyone's responsibility, even if it is a long shot. Yes.
Thank you. Senator Frost, followed by Senator Gunn.
Motion to call the question.
Second, Jack.
Dissent? Dissent. Okay. All those in favor of calling this motion to question, please raise your placards. All those who disagree. In favor in moving this motion to question, please raise a placard again.
What?
Oh.
Are you like repeating votes or?
I'm just recounting votes. Just recounting votes. All those who don't want to call this in question and continue discussion, please raise your placard. So it's a tie.
Fails.
Yes, John?
It fails. It requires a 2/3.
All right. So this motion clearly fails. We continue back to the discussion. All those senators who wish to speak on this, please raise your placard. I'll note down the names and we will begin with that. First of all, Vice President Kafley, followed by Senator Morris, followed by Senator Zellmer, followed by Senator Nguyen. That is all. All right, Vice President Kafley.
The allocation model that we talked about of how 2-year colleges, colleges are getting more prioritized over 4-year colleges. We should also understand that out of 4-year college, we're already getting this priority. Our college stands at the lowest position in terms of priority out of all 7 institutions. And this is one of the issues that me, your president, along with the president of the university have time and again discussed about, because we do, to the state, we give a lot. We've been giving our alums, we've been giving a lot of resources. However, we are not getting the same return back. And like one of the senators mentioned, maybe none of us will see this while we're a student. Maybe our tuition fees could be expensive in the future. However, it is our responsibility to make sure that we do everything in our power to raise concern, because I am pretty sure tuition fee is concern of all the students. If not all, over 95% for sure. And as representatives of those students, even though they don't know what we do specifically, it is our primary responsibility to represent that. And it may happen, it may not happen, but let's not give up hope and let's just try. Maybe in the future, 4 years down the road, it might happen, it might benefit the freshmen. So yes, just that.
Thank you. Senator Morris.
Alright, first point, this is kind of going back on that kind of capital talk, the state level talk. I wanna make it completely clear that state Republicans are quite different than federal Republicans. I'm gonna call out the Republican Party just specifically because they are gonna be the issue group. I've actually talked with a lot of them. A lot of them are not against bonding projects. I mean, even their voting record shows that they're totally okay with giving bonding projects out, and bonding projects in our sense is Armstrong Hall. But if we start tacking on other things, they start souring. Those ones start souring. So why I bring it up is because Legislative Affairs is already going after that Armstrong project. If we keep going after it, now we're saying, now we want more money for this. They may not want to either A, even talk to us anymore about it, and B, just drop it all together and we might just lose support. But I just wanna make it clear as day, I mean, Minnesota Republicans aren't like against funding education. It's just a lot of them are physical hawks, and if a building needs to be built and it's falling apart, then they're like, yeah, that needs to be done. But if it's like, okay, an unsustainable in the situation, unsustainable like fully funding tuition and whatnot, they might not like it as much, even though we might really like it or it might be really, really important. But can't really get around some of those parties, unfortunately. For the legislative affairs side of it, I see that we are called upon to kind of take up the issue and kind of argue it either at the university level and at that state level, which is completely and entirely possible. The committee obviously more likely than not will take it up, but it's a matter of we might not be able to really do it for a while. So I would at least pledge that I'm going to be leaving notes for the next coordinator and the next coordinator, ensuring that message gets across over the next few years to ensure that this gets done. It's just a matter of it might not be the right time now, but it could be a really important time to say, yeah, we should get this done. Just it might not be possible right now.
Senator Zelmer.
I feel like this conversation is just kind of going in a circle and everyone's just saying I support it, but I think there's little things. I think this could be handled outside of Senate. So with that, I call to question.
Second.
I'm gonna second that.
Any dissent? All those in favor of taking this to question, please raise your placard. All those who are against it? All right, this motion clearly is to be called on question. All those in favor of this resolution, please raise your placards. All those who disagree? Any of those who abstain? All right, thank you so much. Seeing the votes, this resolution clearly passes. All right, we now move forward with our announcements. Is there any announcements? Any announcements? Yes, Senator Canaro.
Just want to remind you guys that we're having our second town hall, November 18th, southwest corner of the library, 5:30 p.m., 7 p.m. It'll be on subject of off-campus senators and their projects and yes.
Not a question, sorry.
Yeah. So I'd like all y'all to attend to it, hoping for a larger crowd since the first one was less people than I expected, but yeah, just tell your friends to show up to it. It'll be a fun time. Yeah.
Thank you. Any other announcements? Yes, Senator Hiluka.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd just like to announce that I will be coordinating efforts to get people over to the North Mankato City Council meeting this following week on Monday. It's happening at 7 p.m. If you're interested in attending, just reach out to me and we'll work out carpooling.
Thank you. Yes, Senator Hyde.
Additionally, I'm also going to be going to the North Mankato City Council to discuss their current plans for the data center project that they are wanting to develop. If anyone else would like a ride as well, got my car now, so feel free to just reach out to me on Teams or email.
Thank you so much. Any other announcements? Yes, Senator Morris.
That last one is through legislative affairs, so if you can't get any of them, get to me. I might go, I have no idea yet.
Thank you. Yes, Senator Livingston.
Basic Needs is spearheading a flu shot campaign for until basically Christmas break. I am meeting with someone from Student Health Services on Friday to find out logistics of that. It's probably gonna work out like the off-campus survey where we have some financial incentives like gift cards to give away. So just encourage our peers to get vaccinated and stay healthy. So yeah, if anyone is interested in helping out, please hit me up.
Thank you so much. Before I open the floor for John, I have an announcement to make as well. It's been long since I talked about esports. So first of all, we have watch party today for Rainbow Six Siege. It's at 7 p.m. If you guys like the game or just want to hang out and enjoy it, make sure you go down to Nuvasink Hall in esports area. It starts at 7 p.m. We have free pizzas and free rock stars. And that's all. I move the floor to John.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And Madam Vice President, it's not nice to point and laugh. I want to thank those who went to the Advocacy and Action Conference this weekend. It was a great experience. It was the first statewide thing that I've been able to participate in or been invited to participate in as an advisor. And one of the things that I want to make sure that you all understand or come to appreciate is the relationship that your student senate has with the university administration is very positive and collaborative and respectful in nature. That was not the same message that I got from students and or the advisors from every institution that was represented at this weekend. So I think you all can pat yourselves on the back for helping to cultivate a culture where that is respectful and where there's a positive collaborative relationship with the university to accomplish goals and objectives. I think some of the conversations that I had this weekend were a little eye-opening and all of that. So you guys do a great job in those relationships and the things that you accomplish here. So kudos to that. In terms of events coming up, the student events team is hosting Good Old Days Bingo tomorrow, and then there is How to Train Your Dragon as a film in Ostrander on Friday. And so those are coming up. I want to thank Senator Stokes, who is not present in the room, for coming to meet with me yesterday about, oh, there he is right there. Okay, I didn't even see him. I'm used to seeing you. Yeah, I'm used to seeing you elsewhere too. So we had a good conversation about the off-campus housing tenant association project. And so look forward to working with folks on that as that moves forward. And then, of course, next week, looking forward to reclaiming the kickball trophy. So we will see you there.
Thank you so much. Do we have any questions for John before that? All right. Okay, no question. Yes, Todd.
Couple quick things with kickball. Number one, the trophy's in your possession, so would somebody from student government bring the trophy with next Wednesday? If you would, please. Because we'd like to take a picture of win or lose.
Sure. We can just give it for you so that you can have a view and then we'll take it back after we win.
Like to put my hands on it one last time.
Yes.
Number two, unfortunately, we won't be providing food because we don't allow food in the sports hall. So please show up and play.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Are there any other announcements? I believe not. So we move forward with our roll call. Senator Livingston, Senator Hyber, Senator Chabad, Senator Dietrich, Senator Morris, Senator Reyes, Senator Nguyen, Senator Anderson, Senator Zelmer, Senator Cummings, Senator Ide, Senator Heluka, Senator Isaac, Senator Knauer, Senator Johnson, Senator Atkinson, Senator Stokes, Senator Hillstead, Senator Schoen, Senator Stone, Senator Liu, Senator Frost, Senator Wickersham, Senator Nguyen, Senator Obart, Vice President Kafley, President Corin, and Speaker Tapa. Thank you so much. It is 5:38 p.m. and then I call this meeting adjourned. Thank you so much.
Not getting
Are you the one that talked to Brian?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Jack, I'm not gonna get a video of you.
Yeah, marketing, give me a little bit though. You're on PR and marketing?
Yeah. You didn't finish the drink.
Oh, I'm already doing it.
What'd you get?
Oh, no, I figured it out, I was.
I'm not paying. Pretzels are way cheaper. They're like $6 or $7.
You can do it via chat.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like if you go actually, I've never.
Like those drug
Wait, what?
Okay, so we're just gonna do speakers first. You go here, click
Oh.
the up arrow, schedule a meeting. And then it
That's insane, and I have my senator reporting.
I saw that.
So I gotta.
Then so you kind of
Are you
like
coming to get the Minecraft?
I'm going at the
Towards the end too, it's all. Oh, happy birthday. How old is it? Are you 21?
I will message you after that.
Yeah, I'm already bald.
Oh,
So look at It's just a normal part of being a
So I just got
Yeah, a little bit. No, I'm like receiving someone.
Yes.
Yeah. Over the course of the years, it's just
I didn't know. And then make sure, like, so you have it as like you like me right now. So
I actually know this, and his name is also Ben, but I forgot.
That's kind of weird. That is crazy.
Got it?
Yeah. Thank you, Megan.
But good luck at the meeting.
Thank you very much. Are you going to that?
Oh, are you excited for that?
I'm very excited.
Thing on next Wednesday.
I think I have a thing at 6 here.
Yeah.
Minecraft meeting.
I sent it to you.
I feel like I'm gonna get lost.
$5 deposit.
Oh, last year it was so stressful.
Get like
So stressful, I had to go for
It was stressful.
I was-
I don't know what they're gonna do.
What do you mean it was stressful? Why was it stressful? Is it because the input is crazy?
Yeah, they were crazy. It was our first.
They're like skipping the toilet.
I do not eat Starbucks. It's too expensive. I eat random stuff that tastes not when I've done it.
That's when the aviation
Oh, yeah.
was doing with the.
Yeah.
No.
I just tried that today.
He applies to one and then he gets back on two.
Oh yeah, I was like, yeah, that's what.
Hi, Eddie.
7.
I'm great, Dan.
6 or 7. And then I would include it in my application.
Well, you can do that.
You're kidding.
They,
My dad sent the door.
gonna get him a dessert.
Alright, bye guys.
Yeah, have a good dinner.
Probably my
Oh, yes, I need to finally where you go. We are hosting
Bye, Abraham.
I'll at least advocate.
I don't have an agreement.
I will for sure leave letters in the next few, and then
Yeah, it's
maybe
fine.
even
She
have
is
them
not
contact them.
Sullivan and Romer are
Let them
listed
know
to
that
no
it's something
status
that
there.
they're
I don't really have.
Kyle
Kyle had an agreement, but he's not.
but they also might be able to go through and alleviate the costs.
No problem, don't apologize.
So one way or the other, I could try to get them to do something that may not even include raise. It may just be, hey, get good safe action.
Sullivan and Romer
Campaigns.
need a status,
And that.
and then I need a new member agreement with
You're right, don't worry. Exactly.
Oh.
No, I hear it.
No, he is ringing right now.
Same thing that.
Now I do know Omar
Oh, wait.
Tayo got lost
He
election.
joined this semester.
Looking at possibly changing. It sounds like friend of his said that he would be more than happy to champion legislation like that. So it's very possible that he would be trying. So just letting you know. but no promises coming.
Yeah, I'm not sure, he's been kinda MIA a lot.
I see this as a.
I'm quite confused by it.
No,
Like you
no,
said,
that's
you-
Rachel.
like me or what?
Well, he
Yeah,
has
it's from honors.